one author. And the idea was that 50 years ago, you could go on the top of a mountain, look at the stars, have a bottle of wine, and think, and then you would come up with a really great idea. If today, if you look at the same top articles in scientific journals and in Nature, they're usually, the top ones are the ones with many authors. So the one that have this multidisciplinary approach. If you look at this diagram, there's no way you can solve a brain research problem unless you put together all the other inputs that you see over here. So this is the first, the second type of thing that we are noticing in terms that the only way you can then innovate is if you create an environment, a space, that actually brings together all of these different components. And the third thing, just to wrap up, is more technical, and it is about the actual spaces, the physical spaces. And many people, mayors and politicians, and come to MIT, come to us and say, so how can we build our new Silicon Valley? What should we do? How do we do it from a physical point of view? And we started doing some research on this on the MIT campus. That's a picture of MIT. So that's the River Charles. It looks very bad because it's a winter picture. It's a very green city, but that's, you know, winter is. That's Boston downtown. Forget about Harvard. Done. And MIT, just 5-6 years ago, became completely covered with Wi-Fi. Now we're very familiar. All of us with a computer are connected now. But 5 years ago, pervasive Wi-Fi, and everybody on the campus has a laptop. Now, the consequence of that is not far from a revolution. The way people used to work is what you see on the left. You had a desktop. That desktop was chained to a socket, and you were chained to a fixed location. Today, you can actually work in the way you see to the right because you're free. You can be anywhere and keep on working. This is a little bit biased as an image. I took the most awful picture of a computer center I could find to the left with no daylight, very boring, terrible. And, you know, a very sunny, warm day in Cambridge. It's not always the case. You know, winter is -20. And, but still, the change is very big and profound. It's about we can work anywhere. And so the question is, where do we want to work? What are the successful spaces? And we're answering that question by looking at actually where people work. Again, like in Rome, you can take all this data anonymized and look at megabytes of transfer of information. These are some of the points. There's 5,000 access points on the MIT campus. And you can look at that and look at how people move on the campus and the places where they like to stay. You see this bubble that expand and shrink. And I'll skip the video just because of the time. But every space has a specific signature over time. So this tells you how every space is being used over time. It's interesting also if you look at all of them together. Look at this signature. It's quite interesting. Look at that's all of the campus, how people, the total amount of megabytes going on all the campus over time. And that's a week. So that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Actually, what you see is quite interesting. You see, this is 9 to 5. So there's a little group of people, you know, lucky few people who still work 9 to 5. And then most of the people will, most of the people will keep on working till very late, till 11. And still in the middle of the night, you still have quite a bit of activity. In this activity, if you do a little bit of artificial intelligence, you can separate between the activity that somebody just downloading something from something that's real activity on the network. And that's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday are very similar. Now, Friday is very interesting. Look at how quickly things slip on Friday afternoon, something we might be familiar with all. Saturday is interesting. It's more or less a normal day. You don't have the 9 to 5 people, but everybody else is there. And Sunday is even more interesting because all the time on Sunday night there's this little peak. That's when we all say, shit, tomorrow is Monday. I need to finish my stuff. And you go back to your computer. So by doing this, actually, I'll skip the mathematics and the technical stuff. But we are trying to really understand how spaces are being used in a different way. And what are the spaces that really support the coming together of all these people from different backgrounds to promote, to work, to be happy with their working environment, and in the end to try to innovate together as a group. So this is about the changing of spaces, and what we are seeing is something very similar to cloud computing. Now, if you think about cloud computing, very hot topic today is the idea that once upon a time you had a server. Most people still have a server, and that's a dedicated server. With cloud computing, you can actually virtualize that servers and spread it onto a cloud of many computers. So your server actually become much more efficient because it uses unused capacity that is being spread. What you are seeing is something very similar happening onto space, onto physical space, on the space of our campus. It's a mixing and overlapping of different activities, something that we started calling space compute. You could call it space control, space computing, the same type of process happening onto physical space. And I will show with this, so these are some of the things we observed on ourselves. You know, instead of circulation, private and open, traditional architectural spaces, we're really looking at something that's more composite, that actually brings together people in a more exciting way to promote research and innovation. I will finish with this diagram. That's again what we showed before. So all of this is how the digital and the physical start to interact in new ways, start to create new possibilities. And my really last slide is this, because I'm here having fun with you and you know, going out for dinner and being at the conference, but these are the people who actually did all the hard work, so I wanted to just thank them. They're people in the group. But thank you.